Jun's life had, over the course of a few years, gradually converged into the comforting embrace of the manga cafe he now called home. He hadn't initially planned on making this particular space his permanent abode. It had started as a one-time escape from the pressures of daily life, a temporary haven of peace and solitude. But one night turned into a week morphed into a month, and before he knew it, he'd made a life out of the dimly lit corners of this cozy cafe. The first thing anyone would notice when they stepped into the cafe was the unmistakable scent of old pages, a fragrant mix of paper and ink. Long wooden shelves, filled to the brim with manga volumes, lined the walls. Vibrant covers and intriguing titles vied for attention, luring readers to take a peek into the fantastical worlds within. Soft, plush armchairs and secluded booths beckoned those looking for a more private reading experience. Jun's spot was tucked away in the farthest corner of the cafe, an alcove created by the convergence of two shelves. Over the years, he had made it his own. He had a set routine: wake up just before dawn, start the day with a cup of steaming green tea from the cafe's vending machine, and then lose himself in a new manga series or revisit an old favorite. The cafe was never truly silent. Even in the quietest moments, there was a subtle undercurrent of whispers, the rustle of pages turning, and the occasional soft chuckle from someone completely engrossed in a story. However, these sounds were not disturbances, rather, they were comforting reminders of life and shared passion. Jun loved watching the patrons of the cafe. Each individual had their own rhythm and pattern of visiting. There was the college student, probably struggling with exams, who would occasionally doze off with a textbook in one hand and a manga in the other. An elderly man, with a face etched with wrinkles, came in every Sunday morning to read the same vintage manga series. A young couple often frequented the cafe, reading separate volumes but always sitting side by side, their fingers occasionally brushing against each other. But the person Jun found most intriguing was Hana. She was a tall, slender woman with raven black hair that cascaded down her back. Every Saturday afternoon, like clockwork, she would walk in, her face barely visible behind the giant stack of mangas she returned and a list of new ones she wanted to read. The way her eyes lit up when she discovered a new series, or how she would sometimes murmur dialogues to herself, made Jun wonder about her story. For Jun, life in the manga cafe was not just about the books, it was about the connections, the unspoken understanding among strangers who shared a love for these illustrated tales. The cafe was a universe unto itself, filled with stories both within the pages and outside them. But as with any universe, there were also its share of mysteries. One evening, after the lights had dimmed and the cafe had settled into its nighttime hush, Jun stumbled upon a manga volume he had never seen before. It was placed at the very end of his favorite shelf, almost hidden. The cover was blank, save for a single, ornate key embossed in the center. Curiosity piqued, Jun opened the first page. To the reader who finds this, the handwritten note began, "This is not just a manga. It's a portal." The weight of the statement made Jun pause. He quickly flipped through the pages, finding them all blank. However, as he stared, the pages began to shimmer, and intricate drawings began to form, chronicling a tale of a world unlike any he had seen before. Absorbed, Jun didn't notice the time slipping away or the cafe's patrons dwindling. As the first rays of dawn pierced the cafe's windows, he finally closed the mysterious manga, realizing it was a story that changed with each reading, reflecting the heart and soul of the reader. The next morning, as the cafe awoke to another day, Jun's spot remained empty. The mysterious manga lay there, waiting for its next reader. The cafe continued its rhythm, with stories unfolding both inside and outside its pages. But somewhere, in a world crafted from ink and imagination, Jun had found a new chapter of his life. The manga cafe continued to hum with life, but its regulars felt the absence of Jun. The armchair in the farthest corner looked forlorn, a silent testament to the man who once occupied its cushions. There was an unspoken sense of longing, as if the walls and shelves themselves missed the comforting routine of Jun's daily life. Hana, with her usual stack of mangas, approached the counter one Saturday afternoon. After depositing her read volumes, she wandered the aisles, searching for her next adventure. By chance or fate, she stumbled upon the mysterious manga with the ornate key embossed on its cover, now resting in Jun's old spot. The handwritten note on the first page intrigued her, and soon she was engrossed in the ever-changing narrative of the manga. As the hours passed, the pages revealed a story that resonated deeply with her, filled with characters and worlds that seemed eerily familiar. One character, in particular, stood out, a young man with a striking resemblance to Jun, navigating an ethereal city made of memories and dreams. He was depicted making friends with creatures that looked like sketches come alive and exploring landscapes that changed with the reader's emotions. Hana felt an inexplicable connection to this character. As she delved deeper, she began to recognize snippets of her own life intertwined with Jun's journey. There were moments that mirrored their shared experiences in the manga cafe, like the time she had accidentally spilled her tea, and he had silently offered her his napkin, or the instances when their eyes met across the room, a wordless acknowledgement of a shared passion for stories. Suddenly, Hana found herself not just as an observer but a participant in the manga. She was walking alongside Jun, guiding him through challenges and sharing in his joys. The boundary between fiction and reality blurred as they journeyed together, facing trials that tested their courage and determination. As dawn approached, the two of them found themselves atop a tower, overlooking the vast city of memories. From this vantage point, they could see the countless stories that made up the tapestry of the manga world. The city pulsed with life, each building and street a testament to the readers who had journeyed through the manga before. Jun, with a gentle smile, turned to Hana. "This world," he began, "is made of our stories, our emotions, our hopes, and dreams. It's a sanctuary for those who seek respite or a new beginning. And while I've found solace here, I've also realized that our true stories are still out there, waiting to be written." The weight of his words settled around them, and as the first light of day touched the horizon, the manga's world began to dissolve, replaced by the familiar ambience of the manga cafe. Hana awoke with a start, the mysterious manga clutched in her hand. The cafe was just as she remembered, but something had shifted. The once forlorn armchair in the corner now seemed inviting, filled with memories and promises of stories yet to come. She carefully placed the manga back on the shelf, leaving it for the next reader to discover. With a newfound sense of purpose, she left the cafe, the door chime ringing softly behind her. But as she stepped outside, she was met with a familiar face. Jun, with his characteristic warm smile, stood waiting. Without words, they both understood that their shared adventure was only the beginning. The real world, with its endless possibilities and stories waiting to be told, beckoned. The weeks following Jun and Hana's ethereal journey through the mysterious manga were filled with a renewed sense of connection and wonder. The once familiar streets of their city felt different, as if infused with the magic of the manga world. Every corner held potential, every moment a story waiting to unfold. The duo began spending more time outside the confines of the manga cafe, exploring the city's nooks and crannies. They frequented parks, listening to the tales of the elderly, visited hidden art galleries that showcased stories painted on canvas, and ventured to libraries where words wove intricate tales. Each day was an adventure, an exploration of the narratives that surrounded them. However, the manga cafe remained their anchor. It was their refuge, the place where their story began. They would often return to share their daily discoveries with the other patrons, regaling them with tales of their exploits. The cafe buzzed with a new energy, becoming a nexus for storytellers and dreamers alike. The mysterious manga with the embossed key cover began to gain notoriety. Whispers of its magic spread, and soon, patrons from far and wide came to experience its wonders. Every reader found a different story within its pages, personalized tales that spoke to their souls. The manga became a living entity, absorbing the emotions and memories of each reader, making the cafe a repository of countless stories. One evening, as the golden hues of sunset bathed the cafe in a warm glow, Jun approached Hana with an idea. "What if we create a space where everyone can share their stories, not just through manga but in any form they desire? A place where narratives come alive, a sanctuary for every storyteller." Hana's eyes lit up. A world beyond the manga cafe, where every voice is heard, every tale cherished. "Let's do it." And so, their next chapter began. Pooling their resources, they acquired a space adjacent to the manga cafe, a dilapidated building that, to their imaginative eyes, held infinite potential. With the help of the cafe's patrons and the wider community, they transformed it into the Story Sanctum. The sanctum was a marvel. Walls lined with books, manga, and art, floors dotted with cozy reading nooks, open spaces for storytelling sessions, and a stage for performances. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee wafted through the air, mingling with the scent of old books, creating an ambience of warmth and familiarity. Every evening, the Story Sanctum came alive with narratives. Poets, writers, artists, and dreamers from all walks of life gathered to share, listen, and be enthralled. The bond between Jun and Hana deepened, their shared dream now a tangible reality. One day, an elderly man, the same one who visited the manga cafe every Sunday, stood on the sanctum stage. With tears in his eyes, he shared tales of his youth, of love lost and found, of battles fought, both internal and external. As he spoke, Jun and Hana realized the power of their creation. The sanctum was not just a place, it was a living, breathing entity that gave voice to the voiceless, making every story eternal. Years passed, and the legacy of the manga cafe in the Story Sanctum grew. Jun and Hana, now seasoned storytellers themselves, often looked back at their journey, marveling at the magic of a single mysterious manga that had brought them together. In the heart of the city, the manga cafe and the Story Sanctum stood side by side, beacons of hope and imagination, reminding everyone that stories are not just words on a page or pictures in a frame, they are the essence of life, the threads that bind us all.